Hello, if we haven't met yet, I'm Adele, full-time doll artist for 7 years now. In this video, I want to show you how I make costumes for my porcelain dolls. It's probably my most favorite part of making a new doll. I find that it develops the doll's character further and completes it in the most magical way. If you want to learn to sculpt ball-jointed dolls, check out my doll making classes online and free articles on the blog. And now, let's get on with the video. I start this costume by making a corset first. Usually I find the sewing patterns online and then adapt them to my doll's body. Tracing the pattern on a thin paper really helps to see if it fits the doll. Next, I'm tracing the pattern onto the fabric and sew it all together. I use a sewing machine, but a lot of times the pieces are so small that you only can sew them by hand. To make the corset more realistic, I decided to add boning, using very thin metal strips covered by fabric. It was no easy task because I had to make boning channels from fabric, then insert the metal wire and attach them to each seam of the corset. I think it was really worth it though, because the corset turned out wonderful. I was toying with the idea to use metal clasps for the corset, but decided to do the lace-up corset instead. I punched tiny eyelets for the lacing. I think I got them from Etsy, and when all the eyelets were ready, I used red ribbon to lace it up. Here's how the corset looked at this stage. I started adding beads and other embellishments as well. But I wanted it to look more like a dress, so I added 2 more panels from the sides, some lace, and started to decorate it with beads. I think beads are already my signature look. I love to use beading and embroidery to decorate costumes. I didn't follow any particular pattern, just added what looked good to me at that moment. I think it makes the corset look more lively. The scattered beads look like they just belong there. I used mostly check glass beads, sequins, and some glass crystals. I think it took me about 6 hours to complete the beading, which is almost the whole day of working on one thing, but the result was so worth it. As I mentioned before, the embroidery and beading is almost my signature look. So after sewing hundreds of beads, I did some embroidery as well. I filmed the whole tutorial for my patrons, but here are some fragments of the process. This embroidery will be part of the cape that features some flowering vines to keep up with the theme of Nymphai Dolls, which is that every doll is a protector of a certain plant, some sort of nymph living in the forest. Making shoes was really fun. I made my own soles from polymer clay. It took quite a lot of carving and sanding until I was happy with the shape. I wanted to create a shoe that barely resembled the 60s platform shoes. I know it might not go with the corset very well, but in my mind everything just worked, so I trusted my gut. After lots of carving and sanding, I was really pleased with the result. It fit the feet perfectly and I was ready to start sewing the straps and other parts of the shoes. I sewed some basic strips using double amount of fabric so the shoes would have some shape, and glued everything to the sole, always checking how it fits the feet in the process. I wanted to create a wraparound strap as well, so I figured out how to make a clasp that would easily detach, making these shoes very easy to remove. For decoration, I had these flower-shaped sequins that were the perfect size. I didn't want some big decorations that would look not the right scale for the shoe. Some beads and these flowers were more than enough. To decorate the heel, I cut out some golden floral patterns from the fabric and glued them on. I love how these turn out and how good they look with the pair of stockings. These stockings were made of very thin mesh fabric. I made a seam at the back so it's not very visible and looks quite vintage. All of my dolls are inspired by a specific plant. This time I chose this tropical flower Rafflesia. I tried to recreate the pattern of the petals, colors, and basic shapes. Do you think I succeeded? I'm very happy with the result and how everything just works together. Let me know what you think. You can see more pictures on my Instagram or the website. Lastly, I really want to thank my patrons for the huge support. It means a lot. I filmed most parts of the process as step-by-step tutorials that you can find on my Patreon, with all the material lists and patterns. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the costume making process as much as I did. Bye!